360 Sports Network at 360sportsnetwork.blogspot.com. I am Lost Cause, coming to you again with the Daily Pigskin Blink, a daily look at fantasy football and the NFL, its players, stats, previews, reviews, injury reports, and rumor mills, and everything else to help make your fantasy football team hum. Ndamukong Suh looks to get a 2-game suspension at least by the NFL, along with fines from the team totaling $25,000, along with a fine from the NFL that is completely unexpected as to the total. The Detroit Lions also look to be fined by the NFL for $50,000, as their fine total for players on their active roster will exceed $100,000 for the year. To anybody expecting to pick up, and use Matt Leinart for the rest of the year in place of Matt Shaw for the Houston Texans, well, I'm sorry, but he got placed on the IR after suffering a broken collarbone in Sunday's game. Last night, the New York Giants looked to come into New Orleans and leave with a record of 7-4, hopefully keeping their playoff bid alive in the NFC East. Instead, the Saints come out and show why they are truly undefeatable at home this season, as they beat the Giants 49-24. Drew Brees throws for 24 of 38, 363, 4 touchdowns, and guess what? He rushed for 1. Yes, Drew Brees rushes for touchdowns too. Mark Ingram, rookie, definitely a solid pickup. As these weeks go on, he's finally putting together really solid performances. It's not just 1 touchdown and a couple yards to go with it. It's not a lot of rushing yardage and no touchdowns to go with it. He has had a 90-yard rushing performance before earlier in the season. This is his 4th touchdown that he scored last night on the season. However, last night, 13 carries for 80 yards and 1 touchdown, along with 14 yards in the air. That is a solid 15-point performance. Pierre Thomas, 8 carries, 63 yards, 1 touchdown, along with 47 yards in the air. Another solid performance. Darren Sproles, 28 receiving yards, 54 rushing yards on the ground off of 8 carries. This is a 3-headed giant, but this is a productive 3-headed giant depending on if the offense clicks and goes. If you're playing against a team that has problems either in the pass or in the run, you can probably play any of these 3 and at least get 7 or 8 fantasy points. These are all also different running backs for their needs, especially Ingram and Pierre Thomas. They're completely different types of backs. Ingram is definitely a bruiser. Pierre Thomas is definitely one of the swing backs that'll catch out of the backfield. So play them accordingly, but they're both solid pickups, as I think Mark Ingram is between 50 and 60% owned in most fantasy leagues. Pierre Thomas between 60 and 80%, and Sproles is also the same, between 60 and 80%. Graham having a great year last night, has a great game, 5 receptions out of 8 targets, 84 yards, 2 touchdowns. Colston, 3 receptions for 78 yards. DeVry Henderson, 5 receptions for 67, and Lance Moore, another pickup that I recommend, 5 receptions out of 7 targets, 54 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Eli Manning on the other side of the ball had a solid fantasy football performance last night as well. 37 completions off of 47 attempts, 406 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Brandon Jacobs does it on the ground in a small effort, but still 10 fantasy points, 46 yards running, and 1 touchdown. In the air, Victor Cruz keeps proving why he was a viable fantasy pickup in weeks 6 through 8, and is definitely showing it now. 9 receptions off of 12 targets, 157 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Akeem Nicks, 87 yards receiving. Ballard and Ware both in the 40s, 4 fantasy points for this game. That's it for me. You can check out this broadcast as well as every other broadcast at 360sportsnetwork.blogspot.com. You can also email me any questions, comments, suggestions, sit or start suggestions to lostcause@fantasyfootballtoolkit.com. Take it easy, everybody.